Today's video, we're going to talk about the importance of correctly categorizing your conversion goals on your Google Ads account to get the maximum results possible out of the ad spend that you've committed to spend through Google Ads. And more importantly, get the ad spend you do have profitable so you can scale your Google Ads account. Because there's a big difference between spending $3,000 a month and then not knowing what you got and just being stuck and then being able to scale up to $50,000 a month, which should be something that anybody watching this video, including yourself, can do if you just go through the motions of what it generally takes. You got to set up your tracking correctly as the base of all of this. Know that you got to get XYZ number of conversions on $3,000 a month with the ad spend starting out, and then you can scale. You set up your tracking, and then it's just advertising the best way you can or that you know possible, finding out the 10%, 20% of it that worked, tripling down on that, cutting out the what hasn't worked, and then you hit your number, and then you can scale. It sounds like I'm oversimplifying this a little bit, but practically speaking, that's the process that we always go through. And it's not a matter of if you can make money, it's a matter of when, because after enough time of advertising, you'll find some stuff that brings in leads and sales. It's a matter of how much time is it going to take. And with good tracking, tells you exactly where they come from, and therefore you don't have to be a rocket. As I've talked about in other videos, how the quality and the quantity of conversion data you have dictate how much results you can get out of your account, because Google Ads' system is all run off an algorithm now that decides whether your ad should show up or somebody else's ad in any given ad space that you're trying to advertise in, whether that be display ads or search ads. Google just wants to be able to show the user that's helping show the ad that helps the user the most so that people want to click on ads in the future. And so ultimately it just comes down to, can you advertise better than your competition? And part of the way that you are better, by the way, because you're never going to be better in all ways, because somebody can have a cheap offer and you're more expensive and selling to a premium user, you're never going to be able to then sell to every user. If you sell red shoes, there's people who want cheap shoes and people that want more expensive shoes. With the right tracking, Google's going to figure out who's the person who buys a premium offer in terms of where they live and how old they are, and then just drill everything down to that. So again, it's not about if your ads will be profitable if you have an offer that's as good as your competition, but it's just a matter of how much do you have to advertise to gather the right data for Google's system to figure out who your customer truly is, and then scaling that where that customer is, if you will. In order to have this process work for you, you got to be able to track what you need. If you're generating leads, you track the leads coming in and hopefully whether they turn into a sale, which that's very important. Or if you're just generating sales through an e-commerce shopping cart, tracking how many sales come through the cart, which by the way, if you sell something over $100 and you take orders offline as well, getting that offline order back into your account so you have the true picture of total sales that come in as a result of your Google Ads. When you go ahead and you set up your Google Ads conversion goals, the goals by themselves you can categorize based upon what they are, / Google will categorize it for you. You'll see under your account, it'll say there'll be conversion goals that'll be under purchase. In terms of the category label, some will be under submit lead forms. These are real category goals that Google uses to categorize conversion goals. There'll be a category for add to cart, begin checkout, and depending on, of course, what you've set up, they categorize it as such. The reason why I made this video here for you is to understand that Google uses these categories to identify what it is that the goal that you have actually is. Because going back to what I said before about how Google's system is all run off of machine learning and their algorithm that drives the ads and is trying to figure out which users should see what ads. Is that person going to be more compelled to be helped by an ad that promotes a premium offer versus a non-premium offer based upon that user's traits and so on and so forth? They don't understand your conversion goal. Even if that conversion goal says lead, Google doesn't necessarily know what the lead is. So these conversion goal categories is a way to tell Google, okay, this is basically what this goal is, and in a way that Google can consistently understand the goals that you have set up. It wants to know a phone call. What is a phone call? You can name a goal a phone call, but the category that you place that conversion goal under, if it's under the phone call category as well, the algorithm now knows it's a phone call and to treat it like a phone call, and it knows the value of a phone call, at least as compared to a purchase. And then what the system ultimately does, assuming that you have to get phone calls in order to get sales, it's going to optimize for you for those phone calls, knowing one correlates with the other, still knowing that the sales are the primary thing to go for because that's how the system's programmed by Google's programmers. And you want to track both because you're going to get the most results short term and still have the best results long-term tracking both, because at the beginning it's easier to collect data on phone calls quicker than it is on purchases, and it will use more so and lean on the phone call data until it has enough purchase data to lean on the purchase data, if you will. Always still kind of use the phone call data because the phone call data comes in before the purchase data. So it gets a more of a real-time feel as to, the traffic that it's ultimately driving for you. Is it, that small test that it made to show up for this keyword now, is it going to pan out for you in terms of purchases? When you're using smart bidding in Google Ads and you're saying to Google, I need a certain ROAS/ROI or a certain cost per lead, it's going to do what you want it to do to get that lead cost that you're looking for, to get that ROI/ROAS that you're looking for. The better quality data you have, the better it can do to get you that, and the better the job it can do to scale you at that ROAS level or cost per lead level. And the way that you can kind of robust conversion tracking, if you want the most results, what you want to do is set up something called micro conversions in addition to your macro conversions. That is, for instance, every website, every business has this. For a tattoo removal business, we know if somebody checks out the FAQ, that person's significantly, or we can assume as a whole, more qualified. The person that got to our site, it was the right match for them. And if we optimize for people that click the FAQ button to read the FAQ versus people who don't, we would naturally get, at a given ad spend, more and more profit from our ads because we know people who check out the FAQ is correlated with purchases more than people who don't check out the FAQ. That's an example of a micro conversion. So what you should do is set up the micro conversions to give the system more data to look at, because you can ultimately, machine learning works the best off of having more data and preferably hundreds if not thousands of conversions. So before you rack up thousands of sales, which would take a long, long time, you track the FAQ knowing that's something that correlates with the right type of people that you would actually want the system to optimize for. It'll start using the FAQ data short term to get you a refinement of the traffic it's bringing you, and then while you're collecting data on who buys. And that's going to get you the most results short term because you're giving it conversion data up front that it can build up quickly while still trying to build up purchase data and then eventually transition to purchase data and using that to steer your ads. The micro conversion data to kind of use as a secondary source of information, as I mentioned before. So what we'll typically have with a typical client at our agency, we'll set up some engagement goals, whether that be FAQ button clicks, whether that be somebody who chatted with us on the live chat, whether or not somebody went through the survey that will match you with the right product. We'll have somebody who engages with that, given that, or if that doesn't result in having to put your email in to get the result, we'll at least set that up as a micro conversion because we know somebody who's willing to go through that process is going to be more likely to buy than somebody who hasn't. And the only question is how much more likely they are to buy. And in that case, I would say confidently it's going to be somewhere between 2 and 5 times more likely to buy than somebody who wasn't willing to go through the system itself. These engagement devices, by the way, that you can put on your landing page / website that you're driving traffic to, they're really good to build up this micro conversion data that'll help use with the smart bidding you have, steer your ads in the more profitable direction quicker and easier, but it also just keeps people on the site longer. If they're screwing around with your questionnaire, whether that helps the user a lot or not in the grand scheme of things, it keeps them on the site longer. All you're trying to do on your website is keep the person on the site longer. The longer they stay, the more likely they are to turn into a lead, or the more likely they are to buy. And that's the same thing with sales calls. The longer they're on the phone, the more likely they are to buy. They've committed more time to the process, and that's what you're typically going for. So just as a side of beyond just trying to collect micro data or micro conversion data to help the smart bidding work better in your account, you should be doing it to get them to not bounce from the site as often as well. I like to provide unlimited information to somebody up front. If somebody is inquisitive, they want to know more about what we do, we're going to provide unlimited resources to that. That is, we can have an FAQ. We can have, if you want to see a cross comparison of our product versus all the other products in our category, compare it against each other, we'll have a link to where you can watch a video dedicated to that. And what you do is on your landing page, by the way, is you always have things mapped out. So they get to a section and it'll be like, our product compared to competitor's product, and then a link to go watch that video. But if you don't want it, you can easily breeze past it. Then you can see this FAQ section. If you don't care about it, you breeze past it. But if you do care about it, you can expand the FAQ. So that is the perfect formula to not bog people down with dense information that most people don't want. But for the person who really does want the information, they know where it's at. Anyway, so what we'll typically have with the client is we'll set up some micro conversions, like I said, like people going to view the FAQ, people that will start a live chat. Then we'll also set up conversions for add to cart. Given that an add to cart is not a purchase, yes, but it's easier to rack up a lot of add to cart conversions than it is purchase data. Then along with that, we'll set up a goal for begin checkout. Then we'll also set up a goal for the actual checkouts. What happens when you set up the conversion tracking for all this and you go ahead and you categorize the goals appropriately, because you can, on the add to cart and the begin checkout, you can categorize that in the add to cart category, begin checkout category. What the system's going to do, because the programmers who have programmed the ad management system that runs and powers all the ads on Google, whether that be display ads, YouTube ads, search ads, whatever, it's going to optimize for the FAQ button clicks first, because it needs a few hundred conversions to really make smart decisions on your behalf. It would like to have a few hundred checkout conversions to look at. It don't, and it won't. So you'll get to profitability sooner having these extra goals, the algorithm to look at short term, while still building up data for your purchase goal that you ultimately want the system to mainly be and pay attention to. And so it'll start primarily using the FAQ conversion data until it can start using the add to cart data, because there's enough of it, until it can start using the begin checkout goal because there's enough of it, or conversions because there's enough of it. Then finally start primarily paying attention to the checkout goal because there's enough conversion data to look at that. And then with that, by the way, you would want to have all these goals marked primary in your conversion goal, so it's used in the smart bidding. Then eventually you're going to take the FAQ, mark it secondary. Then eventually you're going to turn the add to cart secondary. Primarily you're going to, for instance, change the add to cart goal to secondary when 100 or more begin checkout conversion goals to look at, because 100 is kind of like, once you get to that point, the machine learning can make smart decisions on 100 or more conversions itself. And so it's like a waterfall effect of what's going on here. And then along with that, as far as it comes to importance of categorizing these goals, if you miscategorize something, the system's programmed to try to go after purchases first before page views, for instance, because that's one of the categories that they have, right? And if you miscategorize it, it's going to optimize for the wrong thing. So you definitely want to categorize things the right way, because it's going to rank stack what it pays attention to the most based upon that category's correlation with actual profitability in business. Cart purchases correlate well with profitability in business. Page views don't. So it's going to use page views as maybe a secondary data point that it can sort of look at as a side and help make some of their decisions with that, more so short term. But purchases being the thing that it really wants to look at when it has enough data to be able to do so. And it's constantly testing whether they should be more so looking at purchase data or maybe even FAQ page views, eventually switching over to the purchase goal, looking at that exclusively when it finds that when it does, you're getting purchases at the ROI that you say that you want through the smart bidding setup that you have. In your account, by the way, you have these account default goals. If you set up a conversion goal as an account default goal, all of your campaigns are going to optimize for that particular goal. If you want a particular campaign to optimize for only some of these goals, you need to go inside that campaign under the goal settings and switch that campaign to only optimize for those goals. And what we'll typically have, the reason why I made this funnel here, is we'll have a campaign, and if you're going to try to make the most money using your Google Ads account in your business and in your niche, there's going to be ads that you target just brand searches, and then competitor searches. Some markets and not others, but then people searching for what you sell on Google. Then it's going to be people that are looking at your competitor solutions on YouTube, or people looking, how do I buy good vacuum on YouTube? And then what you'll do is under the campaign goal settings for the YouTube campaign, where the people are looking for advice on how to make an intelligent purchase decision in your space, you'll set up the campaign goal setting to go for simple download of information or engagement, whereas the campaign you have that targets people looking for and searching for buy vacuum cleaner on Google, that will have under the campaign goal settings the goals that you're trying to go for, a lead or a purchase. And typically if you can have where you're selling something over $100, we're going to have the campaign goal settings to optimize for leads and purchases, because usually a phone call where someone's going to call and ask questions about buying a vacuum cleaner, that's pretty much as good as optimizing for the purchases themselves, and we're going to get extra data. Until we have 1,000 plus purchase conversions, then we'll just switch the campaign goal settings in that case, on those campaigns, to just looking at and trying to go for purchase goals. And then on the campaign goal settings, we're doing the same thing. We're actually switching the campaigns to optimize for stuff that more closely correlates with profitability of that campaign once we have enough conversions under those goals where we can realistically do it. That is 100 plus conversions on those goals. To sum this up, if you actually don't have your conversion goals set up labeled right under the category, algorithm is not going to be able to optimize for the end result that you are looking for. And you can easily click on a goal and recategorize it. And if you haven't done that, you should definitely do that, so that will happen for you. If you're doing offline conversion tracking, that is, you're uploading a spreadsheet, like where you take orders over the phone and you can't track them through your shopping cart, and you upload those to Google, like I always mention you should do on this channel all the time. You want to, especially in that case, those purchases that occur through the phone, change the category to match so it's under the purchase goal, so that the cart purchase goal that you have to track cart purchases is labeled under the purchase category, as well as the conversions you upload through that spreadsheet to track the offline purchases. So basically at the end of the day, it says, anybody who triggers this goal is a purchase, as well as anybody who triggers this goal is a purchase, and they're basically should be viewed the same way. They're both purchases. And so the system doesn't understand anything, but Google has given us a way to tell Google, okay, if we have a goal, where we're tracking offline sales, maybe people who buy in store, and we want to give that information back to Google, how to tell Google this is an actual purchase, and to value it like any other purchase that comes through our website, understands fully what we're doing, and to know how to utilize all the data that we're giving it. I know this covered a bit more than the categorizing conversion goals on Google Ads, but all of that is relevant to getting the most results out of your ads as it pertains to your conversion tracking, conversion goals, and how to set up your conversion goals to get the most results out of your ads at the end of the day, starting from where you're just starting out to eventually down the line, and how to get the long-term results that you're looking for as well. The conversion data, to sum this up again, and going back to what I said originally at the start of this video, the conversion data that you've racked up in your account is the wealth of your account. You can have an account that's been running 10 years that have racked up millions of dollars of sales in it in terms of your conversion tracking, and you take that same account with all the same ads, keywords, settings, and everything, move it over to a brand new account with no conversion data, you will get 5% of the conversions on the same level of ad spend with that new account as you would have had with the seasoned old account, specifically because of how important and how the ad algorithm uses conversion data to decide if an ad should show up for a keyword and for a person or not show up. Every purchase you get, it understands, okay, that person bought, we should actually test and see if we show up for a similar person in the future, whether that will lead to another purchase. Oh, it did? Okay, from now on, it should always show up for a person like that. And so every purchase you get literally makes it easier to get to the next purchase and the next one, and it just compounds, and it's literally just a flywheel. Like, the more sales you get, the more easier it is to get more sales, and so on and so forth. That is, if you take advantage of the tools that Google gives you to get all this done. They give you the tools to tell it exactly what's working and what's not working to the maximum level possible. It's up to you to use it. It's free to use. Obviously, it's maybe not be free to set up per se if you have to hire a programmer to do it, but it's worth it to do it at the end of the day. It can only optimize for what it understands is working and that you want. And if you're not getting the results you want, and you're not tracking things to this level as I described on this video, you have no room to complain. You're asking Google to do something. It's like telling an employee to do a job, and you don't even give them complete instruction. And you're if you're not tracking things on this level, you'd be better off 99% of the time to stop what you're doing to make your ads better and get this out of the way first before moving on to anything else. It's not an instant fix, but at least once that's in place with what you're already spending, your account's going to get better because it's going to get more with the more data. Like I said before, the smarter the ad placement's going to get. If you have any questions about anything I covered here today, leave me a comment below. I get back to every single person who leaves me a question or comment on this channel, usually within 24 hours time. If you haven't subscribed to this channel yet, you absolutely should, as the information I'm presenting to you on this channel comes from somebody who spends 40 hours a week doing ad testing on Google, Facebook, and all the main ad platforms to give you the exact working strategies that work and as well as don't work on these ad platforms that you're trying to make your ads work on in today's environment. This information is unique in that most of the people that you see talking about ads, how to run ads, they're not actually even running any ads. I can tell you this from firsthand experience. They're selling courses, but they're reading Google's material to come up with your course and with their YouTube video, and it's useless to you in that respect, or it's not any better than just going to Google and asking for advice. So if you're going to pay attention to and subscribe to anything, you want to subscribe to this channel at the very, very least. You can also find my blog and written content on my blog at guaranteedppc.com/blog. My blog has actual strategies that we use to guarantee results for our clients at our advertising firm, with step-by-step instructions, with screenshots, with everything you need to use the strategies that just routinely work time and time again for your account that you can literally copy and paste into your account and get great results for your account. If you like the channel, you're definitely going to like the blog as well, so you should check that out as well if you haven't already. If you're looking for somebody who really knows how to get results, and I mean really knows, and has experience running lots of ads, this is exactly what I do for clients at our advertising agency. We are so effective in what we do for clients that we're offering a guarantee with all of our work. That is, if we do not provide you enough additional profitability on your ads on top of what you already have from your ads coming in excess of what our fee is, we do not take a fee. So the only catch is we got to know we can get great results with your stuff up front, and we can get you an estimate as to what we can do for your account. If you reach out to us at Guaranteed PPC, I'll have a phone call with you and we can talk about your business and see if there's some possibilities there. Is it something that we know we can actually do well with and what kind of results we can get for you? We'll of course talk about that together. As a side, if you aren't looking to work with an ad agency like ours, that's perfectly fine. Half you guys watching this channel aren't looking to work with an agency or have an agency or whatever. If we've worked in your niche market before, and we've worked in over 100 plus niche markets in the last 10 years running Guaranteed PPC, you can buy from us, literally speaking, the ads, the landing pages, the campaign templates we've already developed and ironed out for your niche market already, using to get phenomenal results in your niche market. You can take the template and copy paste all that into your ad accounts and get the same results we are. It cuts out all the time, money, and effort it took for us to figure out how to get those results in our market just by using the winning version of everything that works already. And we can tell you the results you would get with it up front. We offer that. So for a one-time fee, you can just bypass all the work and all the money we had to spend on our end to get to those results. You can get them right away for yourself. If you're interested in that, you can also reach out to me at guaranteedppc.com. I think I'll wrap it up with that. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.